Kaali is very closely associated with the nakshatra of Moola. And unless and until you understand the nature of Kaali, it is impossible for you to understand the nature of the nakshatra of Moola. And it's a very powerful nakshatra. If I would have to give you examples to gauge the level of power contained in this nakshatra, Hanuman and Ravan both are said to have been very closely associated with this nakshatra. It is considered their birth nakshatra. In case of Ravan, I think there is a little bit of confusion. Some people say that his birth nakshatra was Chitra. Could be possible. I mean, most of what I've heard, most of what I've researched, I've seen that with Hanuman, yes, definitely the nakshatra of Moola is associated with him completely. It's his birth star. With Ravan as well, I'm sure around about to 90% that this is his nakshatra. And so you can see the level of power that is contained within this nakshatra. And why not? Because on the one hand, its planetary ruler is the south node of the moon, Ketu. And on the other, its ruling deity is Nritti. Nritti is the Vedic goddess of darkness. Okay, her exact nature, her exact description in terms of the modern goddesses that we know is unknown. She is said to bring about darkness, destruction, severance. She's like a bottomless pit. That is how she is described. And so that is the power of Moola. Why now do I say that Kaali is very closely associated with this nakshatra? Because Nritti is a different goddess. She's a Vedic goddess, right? Well, the way that Nritti is described, this is very important to understand the crux of the energy of the nakshatra here and the energy of Kaali itself, herself. Itself, in fact, is also something that we can say. You see, Kaali is everything wrong imaginable that can happen in this moment. And I cannot say a lot of these things because of YouTube's policies and all of that. But how do I put it best? I would say Kaali is a state of consumption of the mother goddess, of her own creation. That's what Kaali is. And that is why the losing of children, stealing of children, some sort of inauspiciousness is also connected with this deity, Nritti. Because it's everything wrong that can go on in a moment. So, for example, how do I put it into perspective for you? Lakshmi is everything good that you can imagine. Good clothes, good shoes, good weather, good partner, lots of money. That is what Lakshmi is. Okay? And Kaali is everything that exists in a way that we will never even be able to know, like a dark matter, like dark energy. And so 90% of this universe is dark energy. Can you imagine that? And I think out of the remaining 10%, dark matter is something in the range of 5 to 7%. Not sure, but I'm definitely sure. 90% of the universe is dark energy, meaning you cannot interact with this energy. You do not even know. You know it exists out there because it's in the vastness. You hardly know anything about the universe. You cannot, even with the most powerful telescopes, it's so vast. So all you can say is that there is 90% of what we know around us. 90% of that in terms of energy is energy that we know nothing about. It's dark. That is the energy of Nritti. Now Kaali is quite similar to that. Nritti is an how do I exactly put it? Nritti is an expression of Kaali. Because Kaali as a whole, if you look at it from the tantric tradition, Tivra Kali is the most powerful form, the most destructive, the most instantaneously responsive form of goddess Kali, Tivra Kali. It's, so in terms of the chronological order of the Mahavidyas, in which Mahavidyas, you can study, you can do their mantras without being guided by anyone, and following this chronology, you have the nature of Ugrata in every deity. Ugrata means the ability to cause destruction, militancy sort of, abilities. And so, Tivra means somebody who is like, in an instant, how an earthquake can wipe out millions. That is what this energy is like. It's like a ball of thunder. So, when you talk about the nakshatra of Moola, this is a nakshatra which has a lot of energy within it. And often what is going to happen is that the person who has this nakshatra is going to have a very hard time transmuting these energies in the best way. They're going to know we're meant for something great. They're going to know we have a greater purpose. But it's going to be very difficult for them to actually be able to translate that sense of purpose, those ideas, into action that justifies their talent, that justifies, the spiritual understanding they have about life, about their energies. So, with this nakshatra, you can also get lost in life. Despite having all of the power, all of the energy, for example, with Hanuman, he was not aware of his powers for quite a long time, because as a kid, he was immensely powerful. He was gifted, by the gods, and the son of the Vayu god himself, right? And so, as a result of that, he used to cause a lot of havoc. And so, what they did was, rishis, they contained Hanumanji's power in a way that those powers cannot be reopened again unless somebody awakens it, and it is required by humanity. And so this was done finally by Jamwant, when it was required for Hanumanji to jump and fly to reach Lanka. Okay, same thing with Ravan, with all the abilities, with all the knowledge in the world, with all the arts, with all the, capabilities. His mind got disillusioned with what truly greatness means. I know, people say that Ravan wanted to get moksha by the hands of Rama. Yes, people say that Ravan wanted to, do this and do that. But if you understand Ravan, if you study him, you will see that this is a person who could have created anything. He could have been as powerful as one of the manifestations of the Lord himself. Ravan could probably have been as great as Parshuram. Could have been. But that disillusionment, a misunderstanding of what your duty means on an energetic way in the world, what power means, how you have to transmute it, etc., is what caused his downfall. And so, with Moola, quite often, what can happen is that there can be a sense of knowing that a lot can be done with yourself, with your life, with your talents, with your capabilities and abilities, but also not knowing how. Okay? And this is a very powerful nakshatra which can, quite honestly, also create all kinds of inauspicious, significations. Because you may have Moola nakshatra and you may very well have a natural expression of inflicting pain and causing destruction. That may be just, how you transmute this energy. That is how you may be connected with the world. That may be your role to play in this time-space continuum. And so it is difficult because Moola is simultaneously the energy of instantaneous, powerful, irreversible change and instantaneous destruction. Okay, so when you're talking about change, when you're talking about a complete difference in state, it can be good, it can be bad. It is up to you how you transmute that energy. So people who have Moola Nakshatra prominent, they can be great revolutionaries, they can be great writers, they can be great activists, great lawyers, okay, even great teachers, policemen, industrialists. But it's just that, the weight of unfulfilled potential weighs quite heavily on this nakshatra. And if this nakshatra is working well, then the person can reach amazing heights. However, you will see that with people who have this nakshatra, quite often, which if it is working out well for them, these people will mostly be the people who have a lot of spiritual awareness, a lot of spiritual development. Okay, because unless you're spiritual enough, unless you can connect authentically with your spiritual purpose in the world, you will not be able to suitably transmute the negative energies of this nakshatra. Okay, it will be difficult for you to do so, because this is a nakshatra of transformation, this is a nakshatra of change. It's very difficult for you to be happy in the status quo if you have this nakshatra. It's tough. Okay, you're not the kind of person, and even when this nakshatra is active, I'm talking about such events taking place, this is not the nakshatra of people just being okay with the bullshit that's going on. This is a nakshatra that will somehow push you to speak out, to speak up. Okay, that's the energy here. There's an energy of being path breaking, being very different from the rest. Okay, so in terms of planning auspicious events like marriages, engagements, and Greh Pravesh and things like that, mostly Moola Nakshatra is avoided, because this can be great energy in terms of bringing about transformations, but in everyday normal life we like things to be more of the Purva Falguni sort of nature, or kind of Anuradha kind of nature, which represents gentleness, beauty, peace. Okay, so Moola, however, is the energy which is the energy of change. Now the planetary placements in this nakshatra are going to decide to a huge extent how this nakshatra plays out. For example, if you have Saturn in Moola, this can be a very powerful energy that can cut both ways. Saturn in Moola is an energy which has the capability of bringing about powerful change, and this can be a person who can be a powerful activist, policeman, lawyer, politician. This can be such kind of a person. At the same time, this person can be a gangster. At the same time, this person can enjoy inflicting pain on others. This person can be an authoritarian ruler, okay, or an authoritarian leader, like a dictator. Okay, so with Saturn, the person awakens to their potential a little late. However, when they do awaken to their potential, provided they are able to transmute these energies sattvically, they are able to tap into a lot of experience that is, it's just not explainable. It's as if they are carrying forward those experiences from a past life. That can be the effect here. Okay. Now, if you have, let's say, Mercury in Moola will show that your intellect is very powerfully incisive. You are able to look at the nuances of things, you're able to analyze things, you're able to study patterns which normal people are not able to. Okay, you have certain gifts when it comes to speech, expression, things like that. Now these gifts can be expressed in a good manner, And these can also be probably expressed in the person speaking too rudely, or a person, you know, being sometimes too critical with their speech. That is something which can happen. Okay, but yes, if you are able to transmute this energy, Mercury in Moola is the energy of a person who can be a great nuclear scientist. This person can be a great energy scientist. Let's say you have Mars in Moola. I'm taking all of the crude planets. Let's say you have Mars in Moola. Mars in Moola is going to be an energy, once again, which can be very physically explosive. This person can be like a boxer. This person can be, like a martial artist. Even if, they're not a boxer or a martial artist, it might be possible that, they're just great with physical activity, or in some way. They play some game, some sport, or maybe they are even fond of gaming. Okay. And maybe they're fond of, violent games like PUBG and things like that. It is quite possible. The only problem is with Mars and Saturn, if they are negatively expressed to some degree, it can get pretty violent. It can get abusive. It may also mean that you can be at the receiving end of, violence or things like that. So that's there. I mean, I don't really like to talk about the negative aspects, but it is important for me to talk about, that's why I began the video by telling you that to understand this nakshatra, you have to understand Kaali, okay? And Kaali is great. She's amazing. She's powerful. She's the guardian of secret knowledge. That's who Kaali is, but she can be incredibly destructive as well. And yes, let's say Rahu is placed in this nakshatra. Well, Rahu placed in this nakshatra, once again, this is actually a placement which can give you a lot of phobias, can give you a lot of fears, can make you aligned to a huge extent in pulling up the truth. This person can be a great lawyer, a great scholar, a great researcher. Okay. Rahu and Moola can even give you a great mathematician. It's quite possible. Dark energy is something that we don't know, but the only thing that we can say, and what Tivra Kaali and what Nritti, what this nakshatra represents, the only thing that we can say for sure here is that there is no mediocrity. As long as you are in mediocrity, life is not going to work out for you if you have this nakshatra. And if you do not, follow the powerful, what do I say exactly, destiny and karma of this nakshatra, then whatever planet is placed here, it's gonna start giving you difficult effects in some way or another. It could even be, manifesting in terms of health problems, conflicts, court cases, things like that. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video about the nakshatra of Moola. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here, and push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. And if you want a personal session with me, you can check out the link given in the description box. It's going to take you to my website, and you'll have to fill in the form. And as soon as I can get back to you, I'm going to respond with an appointment. Thank you. Take care. Hari Om.